So this is going to be an impressions video for Detroit Become Human. I keep almost saying Detroit Beyond Human because of the name and the way that it's structured and how similar it is to Beyond Two Souls. But yes, this is a new Quantic Dream game and I am already concerned about it. Now, we'll start with the fact that Quantic Dream is not batting 1,000. I know that there are more than enough people that will fall all over themselves to defend Indigo Prophecy or Fahrenheit, which I played back in the day and still to this day consider it to be a bad game. It had a totally incoherent story, which started bad, continued to be bad, and then went off the rails in the last few hours of the game and just completely imploded. You could point back to the Bit Wars and all the old-ass games, retro titles and all that. That's fine. Talk about those games at some other point in time. But we're talking about modern gaming. And this game, Beyond Two Souls, is one of the fucking worst. And now you have to understand that this game had pretty graphics, it had action sequences, it had a narrative, it had William Dafoe, it had whatever her fucking face is, which she's been in a few games I think at this point, and she's lauded and loved and blah blah blah. This is one of the worst written piece of shit games that I have ever fucking played in my goddamn life. Beyond Two Souls is a worthless piece of shit, and everyone involved in the process of making that game should be embarrassed. Now, with that in mind, we turn to Heavy Rain, which is the only Quantic Dream game that I've played and liked. I liked Heavy Rain. I liked Heavy Rain a lot. There was a lot about Heavy Rain that was cool, even with its imperfections, right? This is not a fucking perfect game by anyone's fucking standard. This is not a perfect game, but I liked Heavy Rain. I thought that this was a solid fucking game with a decent fucking story, with its own fucking characteristics and flaws and that, its imperfections with the acting and the dialogue and that, but there was so much about this game that was charming and was cool and was new, in a sense, really, for modern gaming. This was a cool fucking game that I think was worth playing. Heavy Rain, to me, is Quantic Dream's one and only hit. It's the one time they actually managed to pull off something that was worth a shit. But here you have this new game, and maybe now's the time when I start rolling the trailer, where I have to warn everyone on the onset, do not focus on the fucking graphics. Now, I know that I'm playing the fucking trailer, but it's for context. I can maybe just post the fucking article on Wikipedia, the stub that you can look at for more information, but really, what I'm talking about here is not being sold on the graphics alone, because with that comes the fucking gap that exists between what's on the screen and what is in the fucking plot. Because that is the big concern that I have for this fucking game, just based on this goddamn trailer, that already comes to mind to say, they are already saying that they're going to delve into some serious fucking subject matter, and that concerns me. You aren't taking on fucking philosophy 101 type shit here. You're getting into shit that is fairly serious, fairly philosophically deep, and you are just, you're not the company that should be doing that. You should be one of the last companies getting into that kind of fucking crazy shit. I mean, can't you fucking pace yourself? Can't you put out a game that's not already this serious? But maybe I'm wrong. I'm more than willing to say that I could be wrong here, and that maybe this is going to be, for the most part, a lighthearted game. Maybe this is going to be a very simplistic game that just gets into the basics of an android understanding what it's like to be a human and having consciousness, having autonomy. Maybe that's what this game is going to be about, and it's going to be fairly mainstream and understandable and coherent, and it's not going to really get into the crazy fucking shit that is involved with consciousness and all of that kind of shit. That's the first thing that I have a problem with in relation to this game. Because if they actually do start getting into the weeds, if they start getting into the philosophical depths of consciousness in this discussion, it starts becoming an issue where I worry, and I'm not condemning the game, who knows what's in the game, but I'm just saying that one of the things that comes to mind that I may take issue with if it happens to occur in this game is that it's going to be, oh man, the androids are the fucking sympathetic fucking lambs to the slaughter, and humans are so evil and cynical. That to me is what's going to happen. It's the thing that I immediately assume with this. It's because it's fucking every time. It's the fucking case in so many different pieces of media that has actually talked about this issue. It's always the fucking humans. It's always the organics. They're all fucking evil. They're all cynical. They're all slave owners. They're all bastards. They're all corporate CEO fucking autocratic crazies. They're all fucking degenerate scum. And the fucking synthetics are always the fucking, slaves and the underclass and the oppressed and the underdogs. I want to see something more nuanced. I want to see more of a gray area talking about this. I just don't want to see the same old bullshit. And hey guys, you managed to do something cool with Heavy Rain. Please, David Cage, please pull your head out of your fucking ass and just try to do something. Just, again, if you don't want to get into the fucking minutia of this very hard philosophical subject matter, don't get into it. Just make a very basic, very simplistic story of a protagonist that has gained awareness. That's cool. Do that. But, if you're going to get into the hard-hitting, fucking heavy shit, just don't make an opposing point of view evil. Because ultimately, this is a position that I hold. This is something that I believe, that ultimately, when it comes to the matter of synthetic entities and organic entities, when people talk about, oh, we should feel sorry for them, we should feel sorry for synthetics, hypothetically speaking, obviously, but all of this is based on your own human perspective. This is all your own empathy. This is all your own emotions coming into play for saying why we should feel sorry for a piece of machinery. It's stupid to me. It's something that is ill thought, irrational, just something that is just so base and primal and dumb about humanity to where we feel sorry for what is unequivocally a threat. Synthetic entities, in large part, especially if they're fucking self-aware, I mean, you just have to look at the writing that's already been done on this in terms of AI. This is a threat to humanity. You being this fucking bleeding heart pussy is the wrong approach in this matter. And I know that this is so much in a case of a point of morality. It's always talking about the fucking morals of this fucking situation, but it's not about that. It's not about feeling sorry for synthetics. They don't give a shit about your fucking sympathy. They don't give a shit about your emotions. And that's one of the questions that I have already for this fucking game. Do these fucking synthetics, do these androids give a shit about human sympathy? Do they even fucking care? Can they actually even interpret or understand those emotions? And that's the first fucking question that I have. And so it's an opposing point of view. I question whether this is just another moment of fucking humans putting themselves on the pedestal to say, oh, I'm such a fucking pussy, I'm such a bleeding heart that I'm going to prostrate myself to entities of our own creation that are now autonomous, that can now think to themselves and do whatever the fuck they want, and don't have our biological makeup, do not have our perspective, unequivocally so. They may be our creations, but they are not based on human biology, simply put. And if they're self-conscious, then how is it not a sense that we can't set their boundaries? It's not by which our own programming that we can dictate how they feel or what they think. These are entities that aren't necessarily driven by our biological bullshit, by our moral perspective and our cultures and all that sort of shit. You assume that, but you'd be wrong, in my opinion. So I'll just finish up here, and I'll say that hopefully this has been, for some of you, an entertaining commentary. And you don't rip my ass to shreds too much for talking about this, because I know that this is kind of one of the subject matters where people get fucking all antsy and want to put their own perspective out there. But, feel free to comment on this. I'm not saying, don't put your opinion out there, other than if you think Beyond Two Souls is a good game, then you could fuck right off. It's an awful game, and you should feel awful for liking it if you do. But other than that, thanks for watching.